Hello everybody! This is going to be a combined days blog. I never got yesterday's done. I did read a book. So day 2, I didn't record anything, but that's okay. We'll add it all together. This way, my rambling can cover 2 days worth instead of being multiple videos of my craziness. So yesterday, I read my book that starts with the word the. I read The Good Luck Charm by Elena. Really, really liked it. I think I rated it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's what I needed, I think. It was kind of a romantic comedy. The male lead is a hockey player, so kind of is a sports romance-ish. I mean, it's not that focused on the hockey. I mean, it kind of is, but it isn't. She's a nurse, and okay, so the female lead is Delilah. She's a nurse, and she's having a really bad day. Really bad day. Like her alarm doesn't go off and stuff like that. She goes to get her coffee and doesn't have her wallet, so she has to go and scrounge change out of her car. And by the time she gets back in to get her coffee, they've given it to somebody else, and she has to wait in line again to reorder it. And then when she goes out to her car, she drops her keys, and they slide under the car. So when she goes to bend down to get them, she ends up having to basically lay down in a puddle to reach them, spills all the contents of her purse all over everything, forgets that she set her coffee on top of the car, so as she's driving along, when she hits her brake, the spills all down the front of her car. It's just one thing after another. So it's time for, she's at work, and a lawyer shows, not really a lawyer, like a messenger from a lawyer's office shows up with papers from her essentially ex-husband. Basically, it's just she has to sign them, and it finalizes their divorce. Shows up, says, that's not going well. And she's getting ready to leave for the day, and a doctor is looking at an x-ray or something, and she sees the name on it, and she's like, oh, no. And runs to go see this person because he's like a father to her. Not her actual father, but like a father to her. And he's had a stroke. So she goes to see him, and his son is there, and they had been a hot item for a while, and he went off to college on a hockey scholarship and basically broke up with her over the phone, so she was heartbroken. That's why she ended up marrying this other guy after high school and college and stuff. And yeah, so she never got over that heartbreak. And here he is back in town. And that starts off, that's like chapter 1. That starts off the story and how they end up, running into each other all the time, especially because he's always at the hospital with his dad. And then they kind of hook up. And let me tell you, I think it was chapter 11. It was kind of hot. There was some definite sexy time in there. Multiple sexy times in that chapter. Anyway, stuff happens. It's the basic boy meets girl. They get together, they break up, they get back together kind of story. I don't think I'm really telling you anything new here. It's just a basic rom-com. But it was good. It was well written. I really enjoyed it. And, yeah. I'm going to have to see if there's more books by her, because I really enjoyed this. What else does she write? I mean, I could always just look it up on Goodreads. Because this is from 2018. Why don't they put lists of the author's books inside the thing anymore? Uh, she lives outside of Toronto. She writes all things romance, contemporary, romantic comedy, sports, and angsty new adult. I guess since they're under 30, they technically qualify as new adult. Anyway, really enjoyed that. I even finished a book today already. And it's only 9 o'clock in the evening. Today was The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Not a bad book. Interesting. A little slow and tedious at times. Jesse James is killed like 2/3 through the book, so the last third is all about the fallout and Robert Ford, and it really focuses on him more than Jesse James, I think, through the whole book, because it starts off with the James gang is getting ready to rob a bank, and this Robert Ford guy shows up and has studied them and has read everything about them and really wants to be part of the gang, and they're like, no. So I think that's a lot of it is, you know how in the movie The Incredibles, the kid, what's his name, Syndrome, becomes a villain because his hero didn't have time for him, didn't want to deal with him, basically was like, go away, kid. That's this. This guy, Jesse James, was his hero. He wanted to be just like him. I mean, everything was, doing this because of Jesse James, and we're a lot alike. We're the same height, and we're the same blah, 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 and we do this, and we do that, and we have the same number of letters in our name, and blah, 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 blah. Whatever. But, and they do have the same number of letters in their name. Jesse James and Robert Ford both have 10 letters. Anyway, not that that really matters. But this kid was obsessed, and when they put up rewards for, I think it was $5,000 for information of the location of Jesse James, and another $5,000 if it leads to his arrest or murder, or no, arrest or death. Murder. What's the difference between assassination and murder? When does murder become an assassination? I need to look that up because that kind of bothers me. Because that's all assassination is a murder. Is it because it's somebody famous and it's now assassination? Why does fame have anything to do with it? I don't know. That's something to look up. Anyway, it's not a bad book. I have the movie sitting here to watch. Too bad the book to movie challenge is actually movie to book challenge this year. Although I don't know, I could probably count this anyway. I've seen a lot of movies about Jesse James. I read this one for the genre that you don't read much of or that you'd like to read more of, and it's a Western, so I'm counting it as that. And like I said in my TBR, my dad passed away in May. His favorite genre was Westerns, so this is kind of honoring him in a way that I read a Western for this particular task. God, my hair is just flying all over the place. Hold on. Let's get it out of my face. Let it do its craziness back here. Yeah, I keep trying to block that, but you've seen it a million times now. We have water damage. And we just had another big storm come through a little bit ago. So, yeah. It's going to take a while before I can get to where we can repair that particular mess. I need to find a better place to film because I'm getting tired of trying to, block it. Anyway, that was my day 3 book. Now I'm trying to decide. Monday I did start a book. I only read like the first, where am I on page? I'm on page 39 now. I started when stars are scattered. I wasn't entirely sure what it was going to be about, because I didn't bother reading anything about it. But it's about these kids from Somalia who are in a refugee camp in Kenya. In Dadaab? I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. D-A-D-A-A-B. Dadaab. It's a refugee camp in Kenya because of the wars in Somalia, which are still bad. And these two boys, brothers, are in this camp, and it's about their life and things. It says refugee camps are supposed to be a temporary place until it's safe to go back home. I guess no one expected the war to last so long, though, because Hassan and I have been here for 7 years. And this is a graphic novel. If it was a novel, I probably wouldn't be able to get through it because I think it would be too sad. But the artwork's pretty good. Omar is the older brother, and we're at the point now he's getting ready to go to school for the first time. But he's afraid to go to school because since he's never been, and his friends have, he's afraid that he won't be able to keep up with them and that he'll be put in a lower grade. The UN guy was like, we'll put you in the 5th grade with your friends. We'll make sure you get through it. It'll be okay. But you really need to go to school so that you will develop skills and be able to survive past being in the camp. So that's where I'm at now. It's interesting so far. I'm going to restart Sea Witch at some point. I know it's due back soon, so I need to really get on it and get it done. I was going to read a different book today, but even at double speed on the audio book, which is what I normally listen, it was going to be more than the time I had left. And now I have to return it and wait. Now I'm waiting on the wait list. I'm number 2 on 5 copies or something, so hopefully it'll be only a couple days before it comes back. But I was kind of hoping to get through that one today. It's a 30-hour book, so it'd be 15 hours of me listening, and I only had 13 hours left. And I'm spoiled. I like to listen to my books. I get headaches now if I do too much reading, either physically or digitally. I am reading an ebook as well, which is very uncommon for me. I don't read a lot of ebooks. It's called The Mutineer, A Romance of Pitcairn Island, or I think is what it's called. Book. The Mutineer, A Romance of Pitcairn Island. It's essentially the mutiny on the Bounty. It's about, and the mutiny just happened at the point I'm at now. The Bounty, Captain Bligh is a real, what's a nice way to say it? We'll go British on this one. He's a real bellwind. And he's treating his sailors like crap. And, the more they're like, we don't want to go, we want to stay, he's like, no, we're going. And he treats them just terrible. He accuses them of things they didn't do. He's just a horrible man. So they finally leave the island. They were on Tahiti, I think. And they finally leave the island and they go. And they visit a couple of different islands. And finally they're like, enough's enough. You've treated us like crap. We're tired of it. We're relieving you of command. So Fletcher Christian takes command, And that's the romance part, is he's got a woman back in Tahiti that he wants to go back to. Most of the men on the crew have women back in Tahiti they want to go back to. So, Bly and the few guys that want to stay with him and support him are dumped off in a boat out in the ocean near an island that may or may not have cannibal headhunters. Yeah. It's interesting so far. I'm only like 31 pages or so into it, but that's kind of hard to judge when you're reading it on a Kindle, because 2 or 3 what I would consider pages are what they call a page. But, oh well, whatever. And reading digitally gives me headaches faster than reading in print. So, yeah. My eyes are getting worse, obviously. I'm getting old. Yeah. So, I guess what I will do now is there is a reading tag, since this is a 2 days worth of vlog. And I don't do daily vlog stuff. I've never really done this, so we're trying. I'm going to have to flip back and forth between pages on my browser. So hopefully I will stay in the picture. Yeah. Thought I heard something. Okay, maybe not. I'm imagining things. I'm hearing things. No, there's been some kind of, I don't know if it's a bird or a frog or what. It keeps making this like screamy noise out there. Of course, it never does it when I'm on video, so when I'm like, did you hear that? Nobody ever hears it. But it's really loud. It sounds like it's right outside my window. And it did it for, geez, almost an hour earlier, right after the rain. So like between 7 and 8, it was just making a screechy noise. And it was loud enough, I was hearing it over the audiobook, because I always do audiobooks with headphones on, otherwise I can't concentrate on it. It's just background noise, and I miss most of it. If I have the headphones on, I concentrate on it better. Anyway, yeah. And then, between 8 and 8:30, I was putting stuff in the oven for dinner, and it got done, and I ate a little bit and then started my recording. So that's how my day's gone. I really haven't done much of anything. I'm getting bored out of my mind not having a job. I need a job. I don't have Dad to take care of anymore, so I really have nothing to do with my days other than sit here and read, which is what I was doing when I was taking care of him. And if he needed something, then, I would do that. But, I keep the dishes done and the food cooked and the laundry more or less caught up. There's only 2 of us in the house now, and my son takes off to the library because he wants to do videos and things, and I don't let him have the computer. But really, my days are just, I'm losing my mind. I need something to do. I did finally order a mask. I've been going so far without actually buying a mask. I still have the one. What is that? Get off there. I still have the one from when my dad was in the hospital, and actually I got 2 or 3 of them that I still have a hold of from that. Because, you couldn't walk in without having a mask, and they would take your temperature and then stick a mask on your face. So the couple times I went to see him in the hospital, then I still have the masks from those. But I finally broke down and ordered some. Ordered one for me and one for my son. His has little cartoony chihuahuas on it. It'll be really cute. Mine's got butterflies on it. Because the one I really wanted, I couldn't afford. It was like the bottom half of a sugar skull, which it was so cool. It was black and white, and it was like, anyway, I think the sugar skulls are just absolutely beautiful and amazing, and I love what they represent. And the mask was beautiful, but it was already like $13 plus shipping plus tax. We're looking at $20 for a piece of fabric to put over my face. No! I ended up ordering the 2 masks that I did with shipping and tax all together was around $6. And 5 of that is shipping. So, yeah. It was like, I think 6, maybe it's 6.5. That's probably more like it because of the tax. But the shipping was like $4.98. And the masks themselves were only listed at 50 cents because she was having a sale. And I'm like, okay, I could afford a 50-cent mask. I can't afford a, $15 mask. I saw another one. It was listed on, the ad was on Facebook, and they were Muppet masks. And there were several of them I really, really liked. But they were $18 a piece. And I'm like, by the time you add tax and shipping to that, you're at like $25. I can't afford that. It's insane. I'm wearing a Kermit shirt today, so obviously I like the Muppets, which is kind of interesting. But the one I was really interested in getting was the Count Von Count mask, because I am into vampires and bats. Ooh. I was trying to figure out how to do the one Instagram challenge for Reading Rush, and it's to take a book. Oh, good Lord. Take a picture of the book you're currently reading with your pet. I don't currently have a pet. Our cat is now living at my brother's house. And so I don't have an actual pet. But I could grab one of my stuffed animals and say, that's my pet. I got a really cute purple bat. He's like big and round and yeah, maybe I'll do that one. Or maybe I'll actually go upstairs to my old bedroom and grab a couple. Or I could use my teddy bear that's as old as I am. It's one I got as a baby. What would a 48-year-old teddy bear read? Oh, okay. Anyway, I wanted to do the book tag that they posted. Now, on the website that says rushing to read, and on the YouTube video, I think it says racing to read. Whatever. But there's like, I think 7 questions, something like that. I gotta flip over to that page so that I can see what the questions are. Oh, come on. Really? My computer's being stupid. What else is new? It's always being stupid. Hey, there it is. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions? Why was I thinking 7? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Okay. So question 1, the warm-up, is a book that stretches your mind. I was going to use that book for a different prompt. Different question. I think I want to use, what was the name of the book? I always get the title wrong. Let me flip over to Goodreads. If Cats Disappeared from the World by Genki Kawamura. I I am sorry. I cannot pronounce anything today. Genki Kawamura. It's about a man who gets a diagnosis that he's terminally ill, and he realizes he hasn't really lived his life, and he's got this pet cat, and this demon comes and is like, I will help you live longer, or I will let you live longer but you have to make a wish to get rid of something in the world. So he gets rid of something like clocks or something, and that he doesn't think is really gonna cause too much trouble, and he realizes that maybe that wasn't the best choice. The next day, the demon comes back, got to get rid of something else, and just keeps going and going and going. Meanwhile, he meets somebody he's interested in, and they get to know each other a little bit better. And that's because the cat ran away to this and ran to this person, but when he found the cat, he met this person. He also is trying to make amends to his family. I guess things had happened in the past that weren't great, and he kind of went off on his own, and so he's trying to make amends there, and just a lot of things. And I remember finishing that book. I read it for the Asian readathon last year, Asianathon, and I missed it this year, but then May was so chaotic that I just completely forgot to even look for it. Anyway, I read it for that last year, and I kept thinking about it. It was a 5-star read for me. It was just really a good book. And I did think about it a lot. Well, what would be something I would get rid of in the world? When it came down to, the demon said, okay, well, we can get rid of cats. He was like, no, we can't get rid of the cats. And there's this whole discussion about, what to get rid of and what can stay and how things affect people. And it was really interesting. And I thought about it quite a bit after the fact. So I think that would be my book that stretches my mind. Okay, so the starting line. What's a book that you started but never finished? Oh God, The Executioner Song. Avoid this book at all costs. It was horrible. I got 750 pages into it, and finally said, enough's enough, and took it back to the library. I'm like, I'm not finishing this crap. It was so bad. Because there's too much discussion of stuff that wasn't pertinent to the story. It was about a guy, a real person. It's a fictional book, but it's about a real person. Gary somebody. I don't know if I can pull that up. Anyway, it's about this guy who murdered some people and wanted the death penalty. And at this point in time, the death penalty had been abolished. And this is in Utah, and he wanted the death penalty. He wanted to have the firing squad. He asked for it. And the story is about how he'd been in and out of prison and things throughout most of his life. And Gary Gilmore, that's his name. And he didn't have a great life living in Utah, a lot of Mormons, so especially in the Salt Lake area. And so no drinking and no smoking and no drugs and no this and no that. And yet he was doing all these things. But it spent so much time focused on his relationship with this woman. And okay, fine, he had a relationship with this woman, but do I really need to know every person she ever dated and or had sex with in her whole lifetime? It's not pertinent to the story. You could have cut half the book just by cutting her character down to what was pertinent. It was awful. It was horrible. Norman Mailer needed an editor. One that wasn't afraid to cut stuff, because it was just too much extra bull. Anyway, that's the book I didn't finish, and I will never finish because I have no desire to go through that crap again. I will leave the last 350 to 400 pages unread, because it's like an 1,100 page book. It's not good. And it won major awards. I think it won was it the Pulitzer, I think? And I'm like, they're giving major awards to this crap? Why? Okay, so that's my opinion anyway. I didn't like it at all. Okay, next question. Sprint, a book you read really quickly, or you read really quickly. What did I read quickly? That would imply a short book, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a short book, because I feel like, I read Cinder quickly, and that's not a short book. That's like, what, 500 pages or so? But I feel like I got through that one fairly quick. I really liked it, too. Maybe that's why. I really liked it. I was listening to it as an audiobook while I was wrapping presents or something, I think, for Christmas that year, and I was like, it's done already? So, yeah, I'll go with Cinder. What's your favorite long book? I think I'm going to go with Les Miserables, maybe? That's another one that's somewhere between 1,000 and 1,100 pages. I really liked it. There was one chapter I would have been happy to cut out, and that was the one about the history of the sewer. But otherwise, the story, it's a good, compelling story. And if you're familiar with the musical, that's only a sliver of the story. Yeah, it's the bigger portion of the story, but there's a whole section that comes before that isn't even discussed. And so that was kind of neat, having the extra background. I've read Don Quixote, which is another fairly long book. It's like, I don't know, 700 pages, I think. Somewhere around there, depending on which copy you get. That's one where it felt like it started repeating itself. So I wouldn't put that as my favorite, but it was a good book. I already know that my not a favorite is Executioner Song, because it's horrible. What other long books? I can't even think of any. That's terrible. Gone with the Wind. I read that, I don't know, earlier this year, late last year. I would have liked it better if Scarlett O'Hara was a better person. I just could not stand her. The story is good, and it's familiar, because, geez, I've seen the movie several times. I just don't like Scarlett. She's horrible. She's a whiny little brat who thinks everybody should bend to her will. And I'm sorry, bitch, but that's not how this world works. Not even in your time period. But it's not a bad book. I just didn't like that particular character. So I'd say my favorite long book, I'm going to go with Les Mis, I think. Hurdles, a book that has ups and downs. Well, I've pretty much already discussed several of those. Any of my long books. A specific book that has ups and downs. I wonder if they mean plot-wise or stylistically. Plot-wise, any romance novel has ups and downs because it's always boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy and girl get back together again. Unless, of course, it's an LGBTQ and then it's boy meets boy or girl meets girl, etc. How about They Both Die at the End? That one, I really haven't read very many male-male relationships. I've read that one. I've read Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. But I think with They Both Die at the End, knowing that it's in the title, they're both going to die at the end, or by the end, getting the call that, hey, this is your last day on Earth, get your shit together. I've been trying so hard not to say those kinds of words in this video. They are coming out. Get your act together. This is it. And then you meet a new friend, and you have these really great experiences on your last day, and then death. Kind of starts low, gets kind of high, kind of goes low again. Plot-wise, yeah, that's definitely ups and downs. So I think that one. A book you were proud to finish. I'm going to go back to my long books on this one. Les Mis is my favorite long book. I think proud to finish would probably be Don Quixote. Because it did get to where it felt repetitive. So the end of it was kind of hard to get through. I think that one. Best book you've read during a readathon. Okay, I already used the If Cats Disappeared from the World. I was going to use that because it was a 5-star read for me. But in the same Asian readathon, I also read The Night Tiger, which I gave 5 stars. It was probably more like a 4.5, 4.75, because there was a thing in it that kind of bothered me some. But the main story was really, really good, and I gave it a 5-star rating. So I guess I'll use that one. How do I describe it? It's set in Malaysia. And this young man is working for this older man, and the older man had lost his finger, and his dying wish, or a dying instruction to the boy, was to find the finger and bring it back to his body. And he's got, like, I think 49 days to do it in. It's either 47 or 49. I think it's 49. That makes more sense because of 7s being a number, an important number. Anyway, so this boy goes off searching for this finger. And then there's this other storyline. This girl somehow ends up with the finger. And there's a whole bunch of stuff. The girl and her stepbrother kind of have an incestuous relationship, which is the one thing that bothered me in the story. That's the one thing I would take points off for, is the whole incest plot line. That bothered me quite a bit. But otherwise, the story was interesting. There's a lot of things going on. These two people kept crossing paths, and eventually, yeah, the young man found out that the girl had the finger, and he ends up tracking it down. I don't remember. I need to reread it, because it's been, well over a year now since I read it. I don't remember exactly what happens with the returning the finger to the body, but it's a pretty interesting book. I really liked it. Participation Ribbon, an underrated book you wish got more attention. I don't remember the title of the actual book. It's the Pensioners series. Is it Little Old Lady Behaving Badly? Let me look it up. If the computer should decide to actually do what I want it to do. I don't know if it's... Oh, The Little Old Lady Who Broke All the Rules. By Katharina Engelman Sundberg. There's 3 books. The second book is Little Old Lady Who Struck Lucky Again, and the third book is The Little Old Lady Behaving Badly. I've only read the first book, and I think it's probably underrated. How do I even explain what goes on? It's the League of Pensioners series. It's the first book. It's this little old lady, 79-year-old Martha Anderson. She's in a senior care home. She's bored out of her mind. She dreams about robbing a bank. And she doesn't want to stay, cooped up in her room, sitting in a chair doing nothing. She wants some excitement, and she gets some of her friends together, and they become known as the League of Pensioners, and they decide to rebel against the rules of this care home, which has just been taken over by this company who is doing everything they can to cut corners and keep the money for themselves and not give anything back to the people paying to be there. So they break out of the care home. There's an art robbery. There's just all kinds of chaos. It was so fun and so funny. And it's from, is it Sweden? It's set in Stockholm, and I believe it is a Swedish author as well. The author's bio is in a different language. Yeah, it's Sweden. Anyway, it was fun. It was funny. Older people who still have all their mental faculties and are physically capable of doing things can really get into a lot of trouble. But this book, I'd say it's underrated. I really enjoyed it. I want to read the rest of them. I'm having trouble getting a hold of them. At least in English. I did find some of them on Book Outlet. I think I got, was it book 1 and 3? I know I have book 3. I think book 1 is the other one I got. I haven't been able to track down book 2 yet. I'm looking for it. Eventually I'll get it. But I would say that's probably definitely an underrated book. And that is all the questions. Woohoo! Do. Oh, apparently there's a giveaway open internationally. So if you film and tag this video and follow all their little rules, you have a chance to win. There's 5 random winners. I'm not entirely sure what you win. I'm going to guess that it's possibly a gift card to Book Depository, since Book Depository is working with the Reading Rush with discounts and stuff. I'm going to guess that's what the prize is. I don't know. I don't see it mentioned in the description box of their video, which is where I'm reading the questions from. So anyway, there's that. So I think I'm going to end the video here. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to either watch a movie. I've got 2 videos out from the library right now. One is The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, and the other is 1917. I got a message today that another video came in, so I probably ought to watch those before I get another one out, and it is almost 10 o'clock. So I'm either going to do that, or I'm going to read a little bit more of this, the graphic novel. I don't know. We'll figure it out, and hopefully I will get a day 4 vlog put together on the time. I don't know. But hey, if I stop now, we'll be a good 15 to 20 minutes shorter than the day 1 video. Which is good, considering this is 2 days and that one was only 1 day, and I rambled on about garbage for half the video. So I will see you in the next one. Remember to do all the YouTube-y things like comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell icon, blah, 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 blah. I did make it to 35 subscribers, so I'm happy about that. I would really appreciate a few more. So if you enjoy my ramblings and my insanity, go for it. It's not going to hurt you. Just clicking a button. So, okay, I will talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.